Hello everyone. So today we have so many events on the financial, on the economic calendar. So many events, and it's going to be sort of a roller coaster. We're going to look at all these events one by one. It's not every day that we get such, so many events like this. It's not every day that we get such volatility in the markets, and today is a good day to trade. It's a really, really good day to trade because there's going to be a lot of volatility. There's going to be a lot of market movement because of what's going to be happening in the world. Yes, not so much of technical analysis. You can do that as well, but there is a lot of force coming from what's actually taking place in the world. And as traders, it's like it's like Christmas. It's like Christmas time when or maybe Easter. Easter is almost coming, so you can start practicing with today's market. It's going to really be very, very interesting. So many events. Let's start taking a look at them right now. And these events are not, they are a few hours from now, but let's look at the earliest one. Let me first correct my time zone here. Okay, it is GMT plus 3. That's the first thing you should always do with the economic calendar. Correct it to GMT plus 3 so that you have the right time code. You don't want to start looking at some event. Sometimes some guy called me and he was up at night waiting for a US event. And I told him, man, it's too early. The guy called me at around 5 a.m. Told me he was waiting for a speech from the US at 5 a.m. And I was wondering, how can there be a speech at this time? It's very, very unusual until I realized that, his time zone was really mixed up. So always make sure you correct your time zone so that you don't wait for some news that's not going to happen because you waited for it at 5 a.m. Yet it could have been GMT plus 8 or minus 8 or whatever. So you're waiting for an event at the wrong time and you'll get very confused. So I didn't know that time zones were a very big problem for some people because many people don't really consider time zones when they are doing their analysis. They just go straight into it and they don't want they don't want to be bothered by this whole time zone thing, correcting here, there. Seems a little bit too much, but you have to deal with everything in order to make it in these financial markets, especially in Forex. So correct your time zone to GMT plus 3 hours. That is our East African time. Okay, so at around midday, midday, there's going to be a speech from the European Central Bank. Now, this one is a medium impact event. It's not so far from now, about 2 hours and a few minutes. So this speech is from Frank Elderson. He's a member of the European Union's Central Bank Executive Board. And for all these speeches to do with the European Central Bank, they are all quite significant, especially during this crisis of Ukraine and Russia. So another event that is tagged to that one, I'm not very sure. There's no time allocation there. This one is affecting German. It's a 10-year bond auction affecting German, and we don't really have much of there's no time allocation there, so you might skip that one a bit. Then the real tough stuff that's happening at 3:30. That is 3:30 affecting the US dollar retail sales. Now this one, it's it's sort of negative for the US dollar. This one is month over month. Previous figure is 3.8%, and the consensus is 0.4%. Now that's a very big decrease for this event. So can't really. This one is going to be very negative for the US dollar because it's a decrease and it's a retail sales. It's quite a big deal. Then after that there is a retail sales control group. Previous figure is 4.8%. The consensus is 0.4%. This one is another decrease. So for the US dollar, things are not looking so good. There's retail sales with an exception of autos. Previous figure is 3.3%, and the expected figure, the consensus is 1%. So this is a lot of bad news for the US dollar. If all of it comes out negative, then by all means, charts like Euro USD, GBP USD are going to move up. Actually, all charts that have the US dollar as the secondary currency will push up against the dollar, and those ones where the US dollar, the first currency, will push down. And so at the same time, at that same time of 3:30, there's going to be these events affecting the Canadian dollar, and these ones are so many. There is a consumer price index. This is month over month, and it's affecting the Canadian dollar. So so the previous figure is 0.8%. The consensus is 0.6%. Then the consumer price index core, this is year over year. This one here is negative figure is 4.3%, and the consensus is 4.8%. So with this very big event affecting the Canadian dollar, we have some, there's some positivity there for the Canadian dollar. So charts like the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, those ones might really shoot down. If this one becomes very, very positive, then the dollar, which is already losing at that same time, and if the dollar is going down and the Canadian dollar is going up, then by all means, a chart like USD Canada will be shooting down. Okay, then still affecting the Canadian dollar. This is consumer price index core, month over month. There is no consensus there. The previous figure is 0.4%. Then there is a consumer price index, month over month, medium impact event, expected to remain the same. But consumer price index year over year, this one, it's increasing, expected to increase from 5.1% to 5.5%. So for Canada, there is a lot of positive, there's a lot of positive vibes there. That's a correct word, positive vibes. So the US dollar has some negative vibes. So the result will be, for a chart like USD Canada, this chart will seriously shoot down if everything comes out as predicted. Then a very, very surprising event coming from Ukraine. That will be at 5 p.m. A speech from President Zelensky. Zelensky. That's a right spelling. President Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, is going to speak. There will be a speech. Here it will be live at 5 p.m. So this one here has a lot to do with what's happening between Russia and Ukraine. And this speech is so powerful that it has been put twice on the economic calendar. So if you studied English and literature and whatever, you can you can utilize your use of exaggeration. Use of exaggeration there. So you have this speech. Try to look for a difference between the two. Looks to be the same thing. So you have this speech from the president of Ukraine at 5 p.m. And the speech is being announced twice on the economic calendar. That is some kind of use of exaggeration. Maybe it's not exaggerated. Maybe it's something to show you how serious this speech is. Now, which currencies will this one affect? From the beginning of this war, we have realized that, we have seen that the currencies affected by this war have been majorly the euro and the pound. There was also the Hungarian and the Hungarian currency and the Polish currency. Those ones are greatly affected. But for the major pairs, the major currencies, we have the euro and the pound. So a speech like this one is going to have a very great impact on those two, on many of our main pairs. And Yeah, that will be at 5 p.m. and the events won't be done. There will be 4 more high impact events affecting the US dollar. That will be at 9 p.m. Yeah, 9 p.m. So the first one is interest rate decision. Now this one is huge from the Federal Reserve. Very, very huge. So this interest rate, we have the previous figure as 0.25%, and the expected figure is 0.5%. This is a very, very big, it's a very big change from 0.25% to 0.5%. It's a very big change that doesn't normally happen, and we're going to have it happening at 9 p.m. of our time. Yeah, so these events, it is American events, but they greatly affect us. We make money off the change of price in these charts. Yeah, we make a lot of money there, and we also lose a lot of money. So these events are very, very much effective for us. So 9 p.m. Second event will be the monetary policy statement. This will be a statement that will explain that decision, and it will be a report. You can download it. Then at the same time, and this is huge, at the same time, there is the FOMC economic projections. Yeah, so this is huge. It's going to be a report. It's going to be a report. Maybe I can read for you something here. Some notes here. Yeah, the Federal Reserve is set to raise interest rates for the first time since the pandemic. Yeah, so the bank's dot plot may fall short of markets' aggressive expectation. The Federal Chairman Powell's message of uncertainty given the war could also weigh on the dollar. Yeah, so this report is released by the Federal Reserve. It includes the FOMC projection for inflation and economic growth over the next 2 years, and more importantly, a breakdown of individual FOMC members' interest rate forecasts. Now, that event will also be at 9 p.m. Then at the same time, this one is the next high impact event, the FOMC press conference. Yeah, so this conference is about an hour long, and it has 2 parts. I'm just reading these notes. First, a prepared statement is read, then the conference is open to press questions. The questions often lead to unscripted answers that create heavy market volatility. Yeah, so this is quite, that's a very important statement. Let me just repeat it. The questions asked by the press, to these, to the Federal Reserve members, these questions often lead to unscripted answers that create heavy market volatility. Now, anyone who knows anything about FOMC meetings and press conference and whatever comes from this group of people, everyone knows that it greatly affects the US dollar, but it greatly affects the the chart XAU USD, commonly known as gold. So if you're a gold trader, today Christmas has come early. You have another rebound of Christmas. If you didn't really enjoy it in December, then you can enjoy it tonight. At that time, you can either enjoy it or you'll have a very bad night if things don't work out in your favor. Yeah, so those are the events for today. There are quite a number of them, and there's going to be a lot of market activity. You could make a lot of money, you could lose a lot of money, you could learn so much. Either way, you will learn so much from what happens in the market today. Yeah, so that's it for the economic calendar. Let's take a look at some charts. Let's start from the very last chart that we looked at yesterday. It was this GBP JPY. Now here is an example of how your stop loss can be hit. We always look at some successful charts here, but it's also good to look at these ones here. And you know the reality of Forex, if you're just a beginning trader, you need to know the reality of Forex trading and how these things how they can turn out for the worst for you. Yeah, if you don't see it from here, you may not see it anywhere else. But yeah, so this is one outcome, a very, very likely outcome. Very, very likely. So yesterday we looked at this divergence. If we try to trace where we were yesterday, that was around 11 p.m. The time this program was running yesterday, and that's where we were. Very hopeful, selling, looking at take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3. Very, very hopeful. Even singing songs of praise and worship. Very, very happy. So we're looking at sailing down and down and down, and the stop loss was up here, some 10 pips above that top. Yeah, these are even 20 pips. So with such risk management, yeah, you can put your take profit levels down there, and you go to church and you sing songs, you clap your hands. Yeah, these days, God loves it when people clap for him. Every church you go to, they tell us, clap for God. Very strong hand clap. So I think that's what's important these days. But anyway, as we did all those calculations, price moved upwards, and just that tip hit that stop loss with just enough distance for the stop loss to actually close out and take your money out, take your money with it. Yeah, so just that small tip hit the stop loss, and yeah, it's life. That's how things happen. That's how you go for war and you get shot, and you went for war and you didn't anticipate that there was a possibility that out of all the tens of thousands of bullets flying from the other side, you didn't anticipate that you'd catch one. So that's what happened yesterday anyway. Yeah, this small tip hit the the stop loss, and yeah, that is life. And price has been playing around at that level there. You look at it, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So yeah, that's the young people say, it is what it is. That's what young people say these days. So yeah, that happened yesterday. That's a very good example of how the price can hit your stop loss. You can lose some money there, and yeah, life doesn't stop there. Life actually goes on. There's nothing much you can do about it. It's very important that you know that this happens, and you can have some good analysis. We've been looking at a lot of divergence, and it has all been successful. This is a very good example of how it can be unsuccessful. And when a 30-minute chart, I'm not saying that on these other charts, these bigger charts, you may not get the same scenario, but it's very common in a smaller time frame than it is in a bigger time frame. And yeah, the more you hit some take profit and some stop loss, you start learning much more about this, and you will expect, you'll know what to expect in the future. So that's the GBP JPY. Okay, I've loaded this up. This time we're going for it. We're going to stop playing around with those other. We've been looking at so many charts in the past, but yeah, let's take a look at these ones. Let's take a look at this app and actually pick some charts from this. So last time I was talking about the ticker tape. People who do tape watching, tape reading. Yeah, you see these numbers here. Just sliding from this from the right to the left. These numbers here down here that are just sliding. Yeah, that is a tape. Yeah, and that tape, it has an instrument name and a price. Yeah, so if you want to be old school, you look at that tape, you see the price is changing, and you do your analysis from there. And then you enter, that is more hardcore than naked trading. If you think you're badass, that you do naked trading, then yeah, if you really want to prove your worth, you do tape reading. Tape reading is more hardcore than naked trading. So you can, yeah, if you want to feel like you're very strong, very, very serious, you can go for that, and you can tell me all about it. I really want to know how your tape reading turned out. Okay, so yeah, I'm not saying that naked traders are not very, are not very hard-headed people. I did naked trading once, and I'm telling you that thing is, yeah, it's rough. You need some indicators in there at some point. There's a point when, even hunters cry when they're, when they're looking at those animals in the jungle. Yeah? It's until he comes out alive, and you'll never know what happened there. But if those animals don't know how to talk, they'll never tell their side of the story. It will just be the guy who went there and cried a bit and and the animal went away and he survived. Then he comes with very broad shoulders, telling you how we defeated the thing and just left it there. Okay, so Euro-USD, there's a lot of selling movement. There's this neutral area there in these middle charts. The big charts are selling, the small charts are selling. I think by now this thing is, it's a bit easy to read. Okay, so Euro-USD, we have some upward movement, I think. Let me remove these period separators. Yeah, it is some kind of, okay, we're having some kind of triangular movement there. I think we should check on our triangle and see how it's performing. So we have these tops. Okay, we have some tops there. It somehow looks triangular. But this is a 1 hour chart. Let's first take this price action. We had these bottoms. Yeah, we have that kind of a trend. So there's a lot of price movement up here, but from this very bottom, it was touching these bottoms, and we had another fan moving there. We can add trend number 2, which gives you another fan there. So we have fan number 1, the strong one, fan number 2. We don't really have fan number 3 there. Yeah, so this is, it looks good. So this one here, this shorter one was actually, it supported price upwards. Then it was broken, and then we had that retest point, another retest and resistance down there. Then it has broken it, and we have areas being tested below there. Yeah, this one is a bit, it's a bit confusing because we have another trend line. I'm going to somehow ignore that one above there for a good reason. Yeah, so we have this other trend line. This one looks purely fundamental. Yeah, this burst in price, but yeah, it's still not so bad. You can take it as well. 2 bursts of price down there. They all look a bit, significant. So yeah, so the explanation for these funny lines, so this one here is the very first one from where price started moving upwards, and it was broken there and tested there, which gives you some kind of a downward movement. Then this second one here was actually the first one to get broken at that point, and gives that good downward movement. And these 2 double bottoms were formed, double bottoms that provided some good resistance that later on became support and being supported there. Yeah, so out of all this confusion, we have price, we have price in the outside of this trend line and this one, and so we can take our bottoms, which is another confusing thing. So we have these 2 bottoms there meeting and forming some kind of a trend moving upwards, and that trend is broken and tested there. So the most significant levels we have are this current one, where the price has just been tested, and this one below, this red one. So these are the closest. This one is the closest resistance and the closest support to price. So those are, that is our. This is our area that we're going to be looking at. If it breaks up there, we continue buying. We can sell to that level. If it breaks that one, we can sell, and it will have entered the zone for this for this other trend line. But we're now in the middle there. So that is, so all that confusion, it generally comes to that. If it's, that's what it comes to. So that is some kind of some kind of price action looking at areas of resistance and support, trend lines, which were once support, then became resistance. Like this one is a good one. This one has been support for some time. It was broken there, now it has become resistance. So that is the law of, people call it supply and demand, support and resistance, and whatever you call it, the result is always that. So this is for the Euro USD, and the fundamental events are really going to affect this one. That's especially that speech from Ukraine. It's a very powerful speech, considering what's happening in the world. Okay. So Euro USD, I'm going to delete everything because we're loading another chart in that same space. The GBP USD. GBP USD is there. We're expecting some good selling movement. All the charts are selling, all the time frames are selling, and it is generally bearish. So for this one here, we don't have a lot of confusing. Maybe if we load this RSI, we might have some divergence there, and we sort of have some divergence there. Though the law of divergence is a bottom must come from an oversold position, and we don't really have an oversold position there, so we can easily not consider this as divergence. Though it looks like a short-term, that's a retracement. It's a very short-term retracement. It's not so bad actually. Short-term retracement there. It may not be a reversal as such. This Euro USD can seriously surprise you. And let me look for the Elliott waves. My stand on the Euro USD has generally been, it has been to sell because of all that selling factor that has been there. I think it is this 4-hour chart. This is the Elliott wave that we've been looking at, and we don't quite have a break. We don't quite have a break moving down there, but let's keep it. Let's just keep this one in mind. Let me see if I can. Okay, can drag that out a little bit, and we follow the trend. If this. Let me delete these blue lines. They haven't yet manifested. So if we look at this short trend from these tops, this one and that one, and now price being broken, then the tops are they are quite moving in that direction, and this one just needs to watch it for quite some time. We just keep on watching it. Let's look at our trend. A bit sluggish, very sluggish. Very strong movement, very strong upward movement, and somehow sluggish, which is, it's a good, it looks good for Elliott waves. It actually looks very good. So there's a lot of price being supported at that level because of so many fundamental events taking place. But maybe, we give it some time and wait for price to break down there, and we complete the waves. They've been moving so far, so well. So we just wait for that, and we shall have, we shall have a good reason to start buying after some time. So the GBP USD don't really have divergence taking place there. Maybe in the 30-minute chart, maybe we have. We have an oversold position there, and it is steadily moving like that. So it's coming from an oversold position, and the RSI is moving upwards, and the price from that level has been moving downwards for quite some time, and now we have this kind of range market there. So considering everything that's happening in the world, between Ukraine and Russia, we can give this one some time. We can give it some time and see what happens today. Then tomorrow, we can look for some areas to enter using technical analysis. The USD JPY, very strong upward movement. I think we can look for that one. Okay, before we look at it, Brent crude oil a few hours ago was at about $98. Yeah, $98, which is a very good sign. Yeah, so depending on what the president of Ukraine speaks today, a lot can change. A lot can happen from those presidential speeches. You'll be alerted of things that you didn't even know were happening. And the market impact will come here. Oil could drop very, very far because of stability, or it could move back upwards because of, lack of, there could be lack of confidence in the people who are trying to stabilize these situations. And so much happens in war. Okay, this is a USD JPY. I think we drew these many funds some time back. And this chart is really shooting for the stars. It's really shooting upwards, and it has gone beyond. It has gone beyond so many levels. Which is it's not a bad sign, but let's look at these bigger charts, and we try and find some levels, maybe the Fibonacci levels, something that can give us some, some kind of understanding of where this price is actually headed. Okay, this is the GBP USD being resisted off this 38.2. Down there, you can look at it, there's a lot of resistance there. Okay, let me load here the USD JPY. We'll look at it in a weekly chart, maybe in a monthly chart, and try to project where this price is headed in the very, very long term, because right now we have really shot above, so many expectations. Okay, so if this were a trend, maybe from this, okay, let's take it from the very top to the very bottom, maybe. Okay, this one here makes a lot of sense for some kind of upward movement. So there's this strong break to this level where the price is right now, and that's a very strong area of resistance. And this is in a weekly chart. So prices have been steadily below that level for quite some time. Since 2016, prices have been below 118.448. That's the price of US dollars in Japan. So, right now we're having that raise, and it could be also because of this war. The American dollar is gaining so much in Japan. We should try and find some kind of a trail in these fundamental events in what's happening in the world. So, we're now at a very strong point of resistance. I think buying any further without a clear break might be, it might be very, very, it may not be something very wise. So you can look at this previous price movement from 2021, the 23.6, some resistance at the 38.2, and a very nice break at the 50.0, and prices have really been at that 61.8, and we have a break. So this is last week's candlestick, and this is this week's candlestick. So next week's candlestick might be above that point, and we'll continue buying. We just we'll continue buying and follow that price movement until when we find an area of resistance and a point of reversal, then we can stop buying. But for now, this chart is very bullish. Selling could be very, very risky. Okay, let us look through here. Australia, USD, USD Canada, USD CHF, buying at the same time. The US dollar is gaining a lot of value in other, in other currencies. It's gaining too much value. Let's look at the USD CHF. Okay, we have that upward movement. This is a weekly chart. Maybe we can move into a smaller chart that we can, where we can trace some trends. Okay, maybe in this daily chart. Okay, we have a clear trend here. We can use the retracement levels there, and yeah, so we have price in between the 38.2 and the 50.0, and we have a we have a very close point of resistance there. So we could, yeah, maybe if this price breaks above the 50.0 mark, and there are quite a number of pips to that level. They are about 93 pips to the 50.0 mark. So we could wait. We could wait it out. If price breaks at 50.0, we could continue buying upwards. It's coming from some, there's some serious bottoms there, and that's okay. It's a USD CHF. It looks like the charts that we're looking at with triangles. Let me look at. It's time to look for that chart. And anyway, I'm going to get it. So so for that one there, after breaking that, this is the one. Our triangle is wonderful. So yesterday price was slightly below. It was below these Fibonacci levels, and yeah, isn't it actually moved beyond them? There's quite a number of pips there in yesterday's price movement. Yeah, about 35 pips. Yeah, that was nice. So, so we had these red lines here. Price broke the red lines. It has broken the yellow lines. So we can comfortably, look for more bullish movement up there. Yeah, so this one has been, it has been a good wait. Getting this point of break out of this triangle. Yeah, it has been quite nice. So we are now safely above the 61.8, and yeah, you can move to a bigger time frame and try and look for what's going to happen in the future. So we have the retracement levels there, and our break has been above the 38.2, and we have broken all these funds following this triangular formation. And now we are looking at we're looking at prices at least moving to the 50.0. Yeah, it's a very big possibility. 50.0, about 100 pips to the 50.0, and to the 61.8, about 270 pips. Yeah, so the 50.0 is safely above all this triangular formation. The 23.6, it was within that price movement. 38.2 provided a very nice place to break. If you look at this very closely at this 38.2, there's a clean break there to where this candlestick is right now, and we have some good price movement moving forward. So this USD CHF, if what happens today, all these events that are taking place today, they could push the dollar further upwards. Ever since this war began, the US dollar has been really gaining on so many other currencies. Apart from our own local currencies, for us, we have really been normal. But these others, it has really been gaining against them. Okay, let's look for at least one more chart that has a lot of. Okay, the euro versus the Canadian dollar. Okay, that's a good candidate. Euro versus New Zealand dollar, another good candidate. Euro CHF, not really good. Euro Canada, Gbp Canada, that's a nice one. Okay, these others don't really look so powerful like the ones on the top. It's another lot of strong buy. New Zealand, Japan. It looks like Japan is having many charts rising over it. New Zealand CHF is rising there as well. Okay, so I've looked at all the charts on this app. So you can just pick out just a few. I think Gbp Canada, it has some good strong selling movement. We can take this one and do some fresh analysis on it, something that instead of following up on these other charts. Okay, so there's a lot of selling power there for the Gbp Canada. I think we've been analyzing this chart as well. I think that a very successful downward trend from the divergence. Okay, this chart, I won't tell you what chart. Okay, this is gold. It's another chart of interest, especially considering the Fomc events tonight. It's a very, very significant chart. Currently, in this 1 hour chart, it's in a downward movement. You can scalp off of it and collect whatever amounts of money you can. But there's a very, very good downward movement there, and these Fomc minutes will definitely show us something. Okay, so for the Gbp Canada, it's generally moving downwards, and if you look at this, it's always good to have the RSI there so that you know exactly, you have an idea of what's happening. So in the 1 hour chart, there isn't much we can really look at. In this 4 hour chart, there is some kind of divergence there. It's, you first look for the obvious things. So there's some kind of divergence there. We have the lower lows on the price, the higher lows on the RSI, and some kind of a bullish move there. And the 30 minutes chart, we have some good divergence there as well. Okay, which is okay. So in this 30 minutes chart, even in this 1 hour chart, let's see which tops we can probably get some hidden divergence there. Now this might be another this might be another totally something new, where you have the strength at the same level, but you have the tops at different levels, giving you some kind of this is more than exaggerated. So the exaggerated divergence is normally having the price having the flat top and the RSI having this other. So you can study this one here, and we'll look for some similar areas in the past and see how we can incorporate this in future. So I think this is the last chart for now. So those economic calendar events that are going to take place today at about starting from 3:30. This must be taken very seriously. That speech from the president of Ukraine, it's a very, very serious speech. And now that so many channels are broadcasting a lot of what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, I think that speech will be very, very available to everyone. So the information that will come out of that speech will have very great impact, especially on the euro and the pound, because they have been the most impacted currencies on these, most of these major charts. So those ones will give you some good insight on how you're going to trade, in these coming days. So, so this speech haven't been having any speeches from the president. He has spoken many times, but those speeches were not on the economic calendar. But this one, it has features that so many people who are into the financial markets, they deemed that speech worthy of being on the economic calendar. So the impact coming from there could really change your life. The price movement may be off the charts. So watch that speech. Don't miss it. It's very, very important. And follow up on the other events. The Fomc minutes tonight will bring in another wave of volatility in the markets. And you could reap big from that market movement. If it's too much for you, you can stay out of it. You can just watch and know what to do the next time that this sort of a thing happens. Yeah, so thank you for watching. I think that's it for now. Have a good day. Goodbye.